What's up, Internet? My name is Warren E. Freeman Jr., and I'm back with another episode of Warren's Vlog. And today, I'm covering WrestleMania 9. I gotta be honest, I had a low expectation going into watching this event, but I gotta say, it was a little bit better than I expected, but man, like right towards the middle of the show, it just started to go way downhill. I mean, it was ridiculous. But let's get right into it. Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, Nevada. I really dug the Roman, concept, the Roman Coliseum, and all the outfits and all that. And of course, Bobby Heenan riding backwards on a camel is one of the most iconic images that you'll ever see from WrestleMania 9. It really is. But we start off strong. We start off with an Intercontinental title match. Shawn Michaels, my favorite wrestler, versus Tatanka. The champion came out first. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't understand that. Look at my notes here. Sensational Sherry is sensational. I mean, she will be missed, definitely. Tatanka showed a lot of athleticism in this match. I mean, I know Shawn Michaels came off the top rope, and Tatanka countered whatever Shawn was going to do with an arm drag. I thought that was just sick. Everything looked good in this match. There was a shoulder buckle shot that sounded good, where Shawn Michaels charged in with a shoulder attack and he hit the buckle and it sounded great. Everything was kind of good. JR botched two moves though. The announcer, Jim Ross, this was his debut show. He called the Samoan drop, which I guess is not Samoan. I think it's End of Trails when Tatanka did it. He called it a fallaway slam. And there was that. He called an electric chair drop a fallaway slam. So I don't know whether it was just first match jitters or what. But the match ended with Shawn Michaels grabbing the referee's feet, and the referee smacked his face. And then they brawled some more, and the match kind of just ended. And they said that it was a disqualification. I thought it was a disqualification, but it was actually a countout somehow. I don't understand that. That was just a weird way to start the show. But a solid match. The finish didn't take away. The finish took away from the match because I was going to give it a 4. I gave it a 3.8 because of the finish. The finish was kind of weird and just random. Next, we got the Head Shrinkers versus the Steiner Brothers. And this was a hard-hitting match. I mean, neither team had the advantage for a long time. This was truly back and forth. This was a hell of a match, man. My favorite part in the match is, well, before I get to my favorite part, I want to talk about Scott Steiner. I think it was Manu or Fatu. I can't tell them apart. They had their names on their tights. But I think it was, I want to say it was Fatu, gave Steiner a flapjack. And Scott Steiner. And I don't know whether Scott over-rotated, but this flapjack was the nastiest thing I'd ever seen. Because it sent Steiner flying over the top rope and he hit his head on the floor. I thought he was dead. I'm like, wow. That was a hell of a flapjack. But my favorite part is I believe Rick Steiner was on Manu's shoulders, I think. And the other head shrinker was coming off the top rope. And Rick countered into a power slam on the other head shrinker while he was on Manu's shoulders. I thought that was the most innovative thing I've ever seen. Probably one of my best, probably my favorite spot from the entire show. I mean, it was just awesome. And JR botched again. He called the Frankensteiner the Steiner line. Again, I guess it's just his first show, so whatever, I'll let it go. I still wrote it, though. But anyway, that was a 3.5. Solid tag match. So far, so good. I mean, 3.8. HBK and Tatanka Intercontinental title match. Head Shrinkers. Steiner Brothers, 3.5. So far, strong show. I mean, I was kind of surprised. Then we go to Doink versus Crush. Um, Heel Doink is actually kind of creepy. I actually can get behind the the creepy clown gimmick. Try to say that 3 times fast. I can actually get behind that. Very creepy. I gotta give Jim Johnston props. Which, by the way, speaking of Jim Johnston, they need to put him in the Hall of Fame this year. I think that Jim Johnston would make an excellent addition to this year's Hall of Fame. But I think they're going with the Texas theme with all the people from Texas. But definitely next year, put Jim Johnston in the Hall of Fame. The guy does hell of a work for the company. He composes great music, and he did a really good number for Doink's the Clown, Doink's music here at WrestleMania 9. They had that, but then they had this dark, kind of eerie theme. And I'm thinking, wow, you can really tell this guy's a heel because they changed the music up. And Jim Johnston is really good with that. The Rock's entrance music is a great example. How, it was upbeat, and then when he turned heel, it was kind of slowed down. Me being a musician, I can really appreciate stuff like that. So, the match was I gave it a 3. It was a solid match. I just really missed when the pile driver was a thing. Like, I missed the pile driver when it was a thing. Like, that's cool. Just hit a pile driver. Now you hit a pile driver, it's so taboo. I think the last pile driver that I can remember seeing was when Punk hit Cena with it in their big match on Raw. But I guess you appreciate it more. But yeah, pile drivers are awesome. I was actually afraid of pile drivers at first until I started wrestling. And it's really all about you protecting yourself and the guy throwing it. I mean, if you have that in sync together, then you're going to get a good pile driver. And the pile driver that Doink hit on Crush was vicious. I mean vicious. It was awesome. The match ended in kind of a controversial fashion. Apparently there were 2 Doinks, and one of them crawled from the outside of the ring and hit Crush in the back of the head with a cast, which I believe was loaded. And I love Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was like, "It's an illusion. It's magic." Oh shit! Bobby the Brain Heenan was cracking me up, man. This whole show, he was a trip. I really enjoyed Macho Man too, but Bobby the Brain was cracking me the hell up. Like, not to veer too much off from the topic, but one of my favorite lines from Bobby the Brain Heenan, and I hope I'm not wrong here, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but when they had the whole barbershop thing with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and Michaels threw him through the glass window. I'm sorry. Let me get it out. Shawn Michaels, he super kicked him. He threw him through the glass window. And I believe this is Bobby the Brain. Oh, look, Marty Jannetty's trying to escape by jumping through the window. Oh, shit. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm done. I'm moving on. Okay. Razor Ramon versus Bob Backlund. This match was kind of short. This was a really short match. They didn't really do very much. I mean, Razor kind of dominated for the most part. Backlund threw some very sloppy hip tosses. I mean, sloppy hip tosses. I don't know whether Razor was off or Bob Backlund was off. I think Razor Ramon didn't post properly for it, or I don't know what it was. It was very sloppy. And then Razor Ramon beat him with an inside cradle. And the big takeaway from that match was, I think Bobby the Brain said, he beat the wrestler with a wrestling move. And that was, you take it or leave it. I mean, okay, Doink and Crush was a 3. I said that. I didn't say that. Razor Ramon and Bob Backlund was a 2.7. Wasn't really much substance there. Then we get to Money Inc. defending the tag titles against Hulk Hogan and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I've actually met Beefcake. He's kind of a dick. Jimmy Hart's awesome, but that notwithstanding, it was just, I mean, Ted DiBiase is always fun to watch. IRS is okay, I guess. But I gotta say that Hogan is. People like to compare Hulk Hogan and John Cena. And I can definitely see the comparison. But I think Hulk Hogan is way overrated. More overrated than John Cena is. Because at least John Cena does something. Not very much, but he does more than Hogan. In this match, Hogan threw punches, a big boot, and that weird clothesline axe bomber thing he does. And that was pretty much it. Like, he didn't really do shit. And Brutus didn't really do anything either. And then Money Inc. walks out of the match. They go backstage. And then they go up the ramp. And then the referee makes a decision, well, if you don't return to the ring in 10 seconds, you lose your tag titles. How the hell does the referee get to make that call? Like, I referee on the indies, okay? I've reffed in multiple places. And I know that it's kind of you make up the storyline, you bend the rules according to the storyline type thing, but that's just, the referee doesn't have that much power. Like, you can't say, oh, well, you'll lose your titles. Like, that's not a referee's decision, that's a booker's decision. Now, if the booker told the referee to make that announcement, then I guess that's one thing, but that's nitpicking. Hogan sat up like the Undertaker, and I'm not the only one who said it. Is actually, as I was writing that note, Macho Man said the same thing. Like, gimmick infringement? Much? Maybe? Okay. So, this match ended on a DQ because Jimmy Hart turned his jacket around. Well, the referee got taken out. By the way, the referee took a lot of bumps in this show. I don't know what was up with that. But Jimmy Hart flipped his jacket around, and it was a striped jacket. And Hogan and Beefcake were on top of IRS and Ted DiBiase, and Jimmy Hart counted to 3 and gave him the titles. And the referee was like, well, no. Like, you're not a referee. This is stupid. And awarded the match to Money Inc. Now, one thing I want to point out, and I think I might have talked about this in my last video, but I'm going to bitch about it more. Because you got 2 championship matches at your biggest show of the year. And both those matches, one end in a countout and one end in a disqualification. What the fuck is that? This is Wrestlemania, okay? And this is really when this show started to take a downward spiral, okay? It just really got worse from here. Yeah, and I know I talked about this in my last video. Because it was the problem I had with the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 11. It's like, this WrestleMania is supposed to be your season finale, your Super Bowl, your World Series, your Stanley Cup, whatever, NBA Finals. This is supposed to be your big climax show. So you want to end whatever storylines, whatever rivalries you have going on. You're supposed to end them. And you don't have a conclusive finish when you have a count out or disqualification. Like, come on! What? Oh, God. Anyway, alright. So we're moving on. It actually didn't go down from there. It picked up a little bit because Lex Luger and Mr. Perfect. If I was around or watching wrestling back in that time, Mr. Perfect probably would have been one of my favorites. Everything he does is his name. He seriously. He can adapt to any style you put him in a ring with, whether it's Greco-Roman, whether it's straight brawler. He can adapt to any style, much like Shawn Michaels can. He can do anything, and everything he does looks good. And he elevates anyone he's in the ring with. He makes them look good. And that is the mark of a true worker. That's a sign of a true worker. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make your opponent look good and vice versa. So that way you work as a team. You don't go in for yourself. And I didn't write a lot of notes about this match because there was really nothing I could critique. And I also can't read my writing. So there's that. But one thing I do want to point out is Lex Luger did go over. He went over with a backslide with Perfect's feet in the ropes, which was just dumb. Luger went over, and then Luger still knocked him out with the forearm. And I'm thinking, well, if you're gonna knock out Perfect after the match is over with the forearm, why didn't you just go over that way? Like it just didn't make sense to me at all. But despite that, the wrestling was fluid. Everything flowed. Everything was damn near perfect. I gave it a 3.7. Solid match. 3.7 for that. Yeah, I gave the tag title match a 2.8. Because it was, I also think it was longer than it should have been, but it was slightly better, I thought, than Razor and Backlund. So I gave Backlund 2.7. Tag title match 2.8. Luger and Perfect 3.7. And now, this is where the show took a wrong turn. I mean, Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. I didn't write a bunch of notes for this because there was nothing to write. It was nothing to write. I noted more of the entrance than anything and how stupid it was. I hate daytime entrances for The Undertaker. I hated it for WrestleMania 31. I thought it was... I like Bray's entrance in WrestleMania 31, but just Taker's entrance was just dumb. It was too light out. And honestly, I think that for WrestleMania 24, they purposely had Undertaker and Edge go on last just because they knew it would be dark. I mean, you can argue that maybe Undertaker and Edge was a bigger rivalry at the time than the WWE title match over on Raw. You can argue that, but I'm willing to bet they had that match go on last because they realized that Undertaker in the dark, his entrance in the dark would be much more impressive to look at. But yeah, I didn't write them up. I didn't write nothing really. I wrote that Undertaker and Khali's matches were more interesting, and that's sad, but it's true. And again, this is just my opinion. Another fucking DQ. Like, you have 8 matches. Well, 7. Well, yeah, it was technically 8 matches. Oh, I'm getting to that. But almost half of your show ended in DQs and the countouts. This is not good. Giant Gonzalez and Undertaker didn't do a damn thing. It was just a bunch of no selling and a chin lock. And that was it. It was strikes, both men not selling each other strikes, a chin lock, and then Giant Gonzalez grabbed a rag full of chlorine or whatever it was and made The Undertaker pass out. That was it. That was the definition of a bathroom break match. It was horrible. And it was the lowest rating that I've ever given for a match on a pay-per-view, let alone a Mania. A 0.8. This wasn't even worthy of a full point. It was a 0.8. It was that damn disgusting. And I'm not going to go on a tirade like I did last video for WrestleMania 11, because I've already told you how I feel about the Undertaker streak and how some of these matches are bullshit. But one thing I did left out, the whole Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels thing. Okay, you could say Undertaker has the streak at WrestleMania, even though some of these matches are bullshit. But Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania because he has consistently had the best match on the card at WrestleMania. I don't give a damn how big you Undertaker fans are. I'm a fan of The Undertaker too, but I'm also a fan of Shawn Michaels. And I believe that Shawn Michaels has put on better quality matches at WrestleMania than The Undertaker ever has. And that's not including the matches they had together. So I'm glad I got that out the way. 0.8. The lowest rating that I will ever give, or that I thought I would ever give for a pay-per-view match, let alone a WrestleMania. But I would be disappointed in just a matter of 25 minutes later. So we go to Bret Hart versus Yokozuna, and obviously I know what happens here. You know what happens here, but I've never watched this show in full. So when I see Hulk Hogan red and yellow ass on the screen before the title match, I thought to myself, well, shit, I should have seen it coming. I should have fucking seen it coming. Hogan comes out here and says, you know something, Mean Gene? I'm going to challenge the winner of that Bret and Yoko match, brother. And whether it's the Jap, or whether it's the Jap, or whether it's the Maple Leaf, Brock Hogan is going to run. Sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, so, again, I didn't write it much about this match at all. It was nothing to write. I just kind of sat there and just twiddled my thumbs. Like, when is this shit gonna end? Pretty sad for a Bret match, though, to feel that way. I gave it a 2. The super kick was nice, I guess. I mean, from a man Yoko's size, to be able to do that and connect with it perfectly is kind of cool. We didn't see a bonsai drop. I was kind of upset. I wanted to yell, bonsai! But there was no bonsai drop. But this is what pissed me off. This is what angered me. And it's the same thing that pissed me off about Charlotte and Brie from Fastlane. It seems like I keep reverting back to Fastlane a lot in these videos. But that's probably because I keep seeing the same problems, you know? You remember how I bitched about how, you know, Charlotte didn't really sell Brie's submission at all. They kind of just switched. I mean, Charlotte kind of just reversed it and went right to the figure 8. This is the same thing. Bret Hart smashed Yokozuna's head into the exposed steel in front of the referee. I guess that's legal. Fuck it. Smashed Yoko's head and then got the sharpshooter on Yokozuna. And then this is where it happened. Mr. Fuji, now, okay, really take the time to digest this, okay? Mr. Fuji throws salt into Bret's eyes, forces Bret to relinquish the sharpshooter, and then Yoko just pins him. Salt! Fucking salt! Beat Bret Hart for the WWE title. Salt! It wasn't an offensive maneuver. It wasn't a super kick. It wasn't a bonsai. It wasn't even a back suplex. It was fucking salt. Oh, salt. And he just pinned him. Yokozuna didn't sell the sharpshooter. He didn't sell shit. He just pinned him. And we got a new WWE champion. And then Hogan, with his creative control bullshit, jumps in the ring and, you know, is running around with a chicken with his head cut off. And then Mr. Fuji says, I will put the WWF title on the line right now. And Bret is still selling. I mean, you gotta give Bret credit for selling. It must have been acid. The way that Bret Hart sold that salt in the eyes, you would have thought it was acid, battery acid. Because he was selling the shit out of that. He motioned to Hogan. He said, go on, go do it. And Hogan jumped in the ring. I don't even remember there being a bell. I really don't. But Hogan jumped in that ring. The match started. Yokozuna grabbed Hogan's arms. Or I think Fuji grabbed Hogan's arms. Or no, Yoko. Yeah, Yoko grabbed Hogan's arm. Fuji went for the salt. Hogan ducked. And at least it wasn't the salt that beat him this time. He threw the salt in the eyes. Hogan came off the ropes with an axe bomber, hit a leg drop, 1, 2, 3. We have a new WWF champion. What the fuck? This pissed me off so bad. Actually watching it more than just hearing about it or seeing highlights, because it would be the equivalent of, let's just say this year at WrestleMania, either Triple H retains the title or Roman Reigns wins the title. It will be the equivalent of The Rock just coming out, even if Triple H retains, The Rock just coming out for no reason at all, not being a part of any of the storylines, giving Triple H the rock bottom, giving him the people's elbow, and winning the WWE title. For no reason at all. And that would make a little bit more sense given the relation of Roman Reigns and The Rock. Just a little bit. But Hogan was not involved in any storylines up to this point. Hogan was not even, I don't believe he was with the company at this point. I believe this was him returning to WrestleMania to help Beefcake And that was the storyline. Hogan wasn't even around. He just comes back and he wins the title. And then this is what angers me even more. Hogan didn't do the job. Hogan didn't do the fucking job. He should have dropped it to Bret. He should have fucking dropped it to Bret. But no, he drops it to Yokozuna in a screwy finish at the King of the Ring this year, I believe. Hogan is a piece of shit. Like, oh my God, I can't get over Hogan. I can't. Oh, you know what? I thought Undertaker and Gonzalez was bad. I didn't think I would rate another pay-per-view match lower than a 0.8. But you know what? I fucking topped myself. I rated this a 0.3. That's right, a 0.3. This wasn't even worth a half a point. And I originally gave it a 0.2. But I raised it to a 0.3 for the sheer significance of the WWF title switching hands in the same night. I believe that was the first time that has happened. Definitely the first time that happened in a WrestleMania. And I gave it that extra little nod just for the sheer significance of it. No matter how fucking stupid it was. And I'm sorry for my overusage of F words in this video. But man, this was just horrible. I mean, overall, after you average WrestleMania out, it was a 2.8. And I'm sorry, anything below a 3.8 or a 3.5 for WrestleMania is just a disappointment. This is supposed to be your biggest show of the year, and it just was not. I honestly think that in Stamford, Connecticut somewhere, they need to get a frame. You know, like a purple and gold frame that was like the colors for this year WrestleMania. They need to get a big ass frame. They need to put WrestleMania 9 in the logo, and then the little caption on the bottom, it needs to say, "What WTF? We actually thought this was a good idea. LOL." Yeah, I'm Warren Freeman. This has been WrestleMania 9. Oh man, I have got to switch things up because I've done 2 bad WrestleManias in a row. I need to get myself hyped for Mania, man. So I'm gonna be doing these reviews. I'm gonna keep you on edge on which WrestleMania I do next, but I will definitely say, well, I'll give you a clue as to the next WrestleMania that I'm gonna review. It was the first WWE WrestleMania. That's your clue. And that's going to be my next review. So, I'm Warren Freeman. I'm an admin over on YesWrestling.com. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram, WEF1989. Twitter, @BlackReaction. Had a brain freeze there for a minute. Add my personal page. Find me on Yes Wrestling. I'm Warren Freeman. It's been real. This was my WrestleMania 9 review, and I'm out.